Hello?
Hey, I don't know what happened. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me.
No, the you can't my apologies. I forgot to let you know. You can't let your phone go black.
I got you. Okay, yeah, it didn't do that. It didn't do anything. That was
Oh,
weird.
oh
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know what happened. That was so weird.
Okay. Well, we back on deck.
Yes,
Start
we're back on.
again. So let me get you properly introduced over again, my sister.
Okay.
Peace and blessings, everybody. And again, welcome to another great episode of Just a Conversation. And we're here today with an award-winning mother, sister, soul survivor, Academy Award winning Sister Ishe Light. Thank you, sister, for being on the podcast. We appreciate you.
I
And
thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful. I'm so honored to be on your podcast. So, yay.
thank you. Let's get into the conversation, sister. What's going on with you in today's times and climes?
Oh my God, a whole bunch is going on. As you said, I'm a mother. My daughter is 20 years old. I manage her. She's a professional model, supermodel. She also acts. I have an artist named Bobby, whom I also manage, and she's an
Okay.
amazing singer, songwriter, producer. She's awesome. She's so talented, just like my daughter. So those two. I have my daughter, Alex P, and Bobby. Those are my two clients and artists I manage. Um, I am working on new music. I dance. I do choreography. I do creative direction. I do artist development. I train a lot of up and coming artists, aspiring artists, male and female alike. Yeah, and I stay busy. I'm getting into TV and film. That's something I really, truly have passion about. A lot of passion. I'm very passionate about it. I also I do a little bit of everything. I do styling. I do makeup. I can do hair. I do a little bit of everything. So I try to learn all aspects of the industry, the entertainment industry. So when I have to use a lot of those tools, if you will, those skills, I know how to do it and apply it. So yeah, I'm staying busy, keeping busy, staying positive, and moving forward.
Amen, amen, amen. That's a lot of crowns you wear, sister.
Yes,
All right.
definitely.
So, in the aspect of a busy day, how do you keep your mentals and everything together and and coping with the busy schedules and things in life?
Oh my God. So I get up early in the morning. Sometimes I'm up at 4, sometimes I'm up at 5, and I pray and I read a lot. We don't have televisions in our home, so we
Oh,
read a
okay.
lot. And, I just read a lot and I journal, I talk to God, and I just figure my day out. And I do a lot of tapping therapy. At that time, I usually take my herbs and stuff like my probiotic, my vitamin, all the supplements I take, and then I'm just being one with my body. Sometimes I do a very hot water with lemon and some turmeric, or some lime and some turmeric, and I do all kinds of little concoctions, right?
Okay.
And I stretch. I usually stretch and I exercise in the morning and stuff like that. I try to do all that before my day gets busy. So like before 9, I try to do all of that. So because when you work for yourself, it's like you work 24 hours a day. It's never
Yeah,
really a
you right.
cutoff time. You work on holidays. I was working yesterday, so I'm always doing something, because just I've been a single mom for 18 years and just raising my daughter, and just I've mentored a lot, worked with a lot of youth and young adults, and so I'm always just uh, grinding. You know what I mean? And
That's
figuring
what's
out my
up.
next moves and everything. But yeah, and just really getting my body back to a place where it is functioning in the way that I would like. And I'm so grateful. I'm 90% because I had a battle breast cancer last year. Thank God I am free of Cancer.
Yes,
So
amen.
yeah, so
And I love that.
so yeah, so I just been, I do that, and I also believe in therapy. So when I do need to talk to someone, I do have an amazing therapist and all that good
Okay.
stuff.
No, that's a very important thing because especially in the Asiatic, black communities, the aspect of having a therapist or even just talking about, mental health in itself has always been a shaded area, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Especially,
totally. Hmm.
so that's good that and I think a lot of people don't really understand as far as with celebrities and sports stars go, the stress is like double time,
Oh, it's
you know.
crazy.
Yeah, and for one to be able to balance and keep their mentals together and keep the spirit together, you know what I'm saying?
Oh
Like you say,
yeah.
and you get up in the morning, you meditate, you pray, et cetera, et cetera. I'm in the same thing. I'm every other second I'm saying something to the Most High
Oh
because
yes.
it's for me it's imperative to stay spiritual.
Amen. That's right.
I
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
we are souls first, it's, you know what
exactly,
I'm saying? So that, how
exactly.
when you say, how when you meet people, you like, that energy have good energy because we are energy and we are
That's
souls and we connect and you feel vibrationally you drawn to certain people or certain things, you know what I mean?
Amen.
So yeah,
Amen.
so I listen, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying on that. Now, in the aspect of uh deep spirituality, because I like to ask my guests what advice do they have for people, whether they're up and coming artists or just the everyday average 9 to 5 king or queen,
Hmm.
what deep spiritual advice, outside of your rudimentary daily activities that you would have or would like to give to the people.
Oh, that's a beautiful question. What I will always say, stay grounded and staying grounded for me, I always connect with nature. So that always helps me to stay grounded and understand that, everything around us is, especially here in the United States, can be very fast paced, fast moving. And
Right.
sometimes you just have to take a moment and inhale and exhale. I believe that breathing is part of spiritual awakening. So even deep breathing and taking moments to inhale, hold it, and exhale,
Namaste.
you know,
Namaste.
and
Yeah.
releasing, you know, energy from others, the environment, just even the air, just whatever, just releasing energy and just staying grounded and
Mm.
having, for me, spiritually, I always have like, I love to be around good, positive people who
Amen.
are just good hearted people and also progressive in whatever they're doing. So whether it be, I have a girlfriend that does massage therapy and she's always, self-care is big for her, which self-care is big for me, but that's her job, you understand? So it's like
Right.
she's always trying to learn and better herself. And then I have a friend that's in the fitness and I'm in the fitness, and so you just, to me, it's all spiritual. I think everything that, once you know your purpose in life, and you move in that, it's all connected to the divine entity,
Right.
because you're moving in your purpose, which came from God. So now you are moving in it. So every step you take, every move you make, you have to be connected so that you can hear from God what you need to do and what places you need to go. Don't turn down that street. Yeah, walk that direction. Go talk to that person. Those type of things.
Yeah.
So for
Exactly.
me, I
Exactly.
think spiritually, I always just say, just stay grounded. And to me, for me, nature has always been it for me, because you can go outside and put your feet in the grass And I don't know, it just makes me feel so good. And then and then the way the trees sway, nature is always doing what it's supposed to do. Sometimes we as humans, we
What
we just disrupt the
this?
the
Woo,
flow of
we
nature because
girl.
we are
That's
disobedient.
right. Talking about the understatement of the year. It's always a task to try to get an individual to understand that we are spiritual beings
Yes.
going through a human
Come
experience.
on now.
So in the elements of going through this human experience, yeah, we gonna mess up here, we gonna make
Oh
mistakes,
yeah,
etc.
totally.
But
Mm-hmm.
my now on the road that I'm on as far as spiritually, my thing is to think more as a God and get away from thinking as a human because
Mm-hmm.
human frailty is bad, and we see all the things that's going on the earth now, and it's not good. Mother Earth crying, she's been crying, and she's reacting.
Yes. Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
so in the reactions, the average layman is looking like, oh well, why is this happening? Why is all these natural disasters and stuff? It's because it's a connection, and the
Yes.
connection is being severed.
Yes, I totally agree. And I think also too, like for me, I believe in, a lot of things. I like to recycle. I love to I really dislike when I go into um a lot of communities and you see litter everywhere or trash or just people, just not caring about. And like you said, Mother Earth is like, okay, what are y'all doing? And
Right.
just it's so much like construction and all of that, it's just
Yeah.
it's so
It's
much, happening all at one time. It's a lot, you know.
yeah, it is. And then we had your beautiful music, your beautiful dancing,
Thank
you
you.
know, to look. I was on your Instagram the other day and I saw a throwback where you and Brother King Speech and the rest of the family was performing on I think it was no, it wasn't Yo TV, right? It was one of the old school shows, right?
Oh,
One of the old
MTV
school hip
Unplugged,
hop shows.
probably. That's probably what it was. MTV Unplugged.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah,
Yep.
uh-huh. Yep.
And you was in the background getting your dance, and
Yeah.
the African dance that
Yes.
is so deep. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
And
you.
I was like, dang, because I've been a great fan of y'all for since the beginning when y'all came out.
Hmm.
So me being a socially conscious hip hop artist myself, I automatically gravitated to what y'all was bringing. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? So I appreciate that.
And congratulations on the stuff that you're doing too.
Oh, thank you, sister. I'm
You're
I'm I'm
welcome.
I'm just a little drop in the ocean. You know what I'm saying? I love hip hop, and I know I'm not finna be record breaking chart this that and the other. I just love hip hop, and I feel this would need to be a balance back in hip hop, especially when the industry level, because on the underground you can get a various of different genres of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? You can
Hmm.
get out there, party, shake your butt, no music. You can get out there and get your, power to the people, struggle music. You can get your have fun. You know, industry is totally different nowadays, and it's not good. But that's just personally my personal opinion. But
Hmm.
everything for every person and every artist, producer, graphic artist, dancer, etc., that's succeeding and being successful in what goal they set, more power to them. It's just certain things that I've seen because I come from three different generations of hip hop. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So seeing these things and then seeing the situations that's happening with all our artists and these young kings getting killed, et cetera, et cetera. And it's music, it's entertainment.
Yeah. Hmm.
And, but, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah. Totally. I do wish it was more balanced in the mainstream because like even when we first came out, I was a teenager. I was 16 years old. I was the youngest member of the group, and
Mm.
we had so much, it was diverse back then. So if you liked, NWA or whoever you liked, or you liked Arrested Development, or you like De La, or you like Public, it was just so
Right.
many different variety of music that you can listen to,
Exactly.
and whatever you liked, you know what I mean? But now
Yep.
it's the mainstream, unfortunately, it's not like that. But you have to just go search yourself actually for artists that you like on an indie level, or things like
Right.
that. And so yeah, but I wish you many blessings on your project and everything that you're doing.
Thank you, my sister. I appreciate
You
that
are so welcome.
greatly, greatly. Now, give us a little, give us some little inside, a little something that you want the masses to know that we don't know already.
Well, I mean, that is such a my gosh, a broad question. So I could like I could talk from so many different aspects. So I guess
Uh,
if you narrow something down,
okay, well,
or area down.
that was a broad spectrum. So I'm
No,
I'm
it's all good.
I'm gonna let you choose the topic that you would choose to bless us with today.
Oh, I don't know. That's golly. Let's see. I don't know. That because it's so many things that I do I could talk about. So that's what I mean. I mean, anything comes to your mind off the top of your head, like
Okay,
anything?
let's talk about your managerial, the
Okay,
managerial
okay, there you
that you wear.
go.
That's cool.
Yeah, totally. So the journey started with me managing artists actually back in the 90s, because I have, I started in the industry. I started dancing when I was 2 years old. My mom
Okay,
owned, my mother taught me how to dance. She owned one of the first Black owned dance schools in the state of Georgia. She taught a
oh
whole
wow.
bunch of people. Yeah. And so CeeLo was one of her students, Carlos. We all grew up together. And,
Yeah,
I
good
grew up
enough.
with like Goody Mob and just a lot of those people. We all from Southwest Atlanta.
Okay,
But anyways, so I grew up dancing, and my mom taught me how to do ballet, point, jazz. I was doing hip hop. I mean, everything, all that stuff.
right,
So I grew up in it. So I started. We would do like competitions and dance and stuff like that. So I started actually performing behind local artists first in Atlanta. So one of the artists I danced for was Sammy Sam the Hitman, and then I danced with some other people, just local artists, and we would dance at the malls and stuff like that and sing. And then my sister, she was introduced to Arrested Development through a gentleman by the name of Ian Burke. And Ian Burke is like, back in the day, Ian had pretty much everybody. If you came out of Atlanta, you came through Ian some kind of way, from Escape to TLC, everybody. So
okay.
I'm giving you kind of the
No,
backstory to tell you how I got into management. So anyway, I went and auditioned for the group. I was 13 years old. My sister actually had was offered the audition first, because she was dancing for like Pebbles and James Brown and all these people. And my sister didn't want to do it. I'm the baby. I have a
right,
brother, and then my sister's oldest. And she was like, my little sister does African dance. So she took me. We went to the audition. Ian and my sister took me, and the rest is history. So from that point, I learned a lot. I've been through a lot of ups and downs in this business.
right.
Some stuff not so good.
Amen.
And I just, I like to say challenging versus bad.
Right,
So that, because I've learned from every experience, and I went through a lot of trauma, but I also had a lot of victories.
right,
So it was a lot. So for me, I've never been into like drugs and drinking or nothing like that, which I'm
right,
grateful for, because I could have gone down that path by being, depressed and going
right,
through the things I went through in this business. And I'm so grateful. And no shade to anybody who does that, but I just chose not to do that life, right?
right,
And I said, God, if you could bring me out of this, heal my heart in so many ways, because I trusted these people and I believed this situation, and I was a kid. So you're gonna,
right,
believe people, and then that it turned out not so good. So with all that happening, I said, God, just bring me out of this, and I am going to help other artists so they won't go through what I've gone through and won't be treated the way I've been treated. And I really, I work with male and female artists, but I
Right.
really focused on a lot of young women
Okay.
because this industry, especially back in the 90s, could be treacherous when it came
Yeah.
to
I
young
look.
girls.
From me observing from the outside,
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? Yeah, I can just
Yes.
imagine. Right.
Yes. And, I like my mother, who's no longer with us. She was such an amazing woman. And my mama was a woman of the art. So she allowed me to do this because she knew it was my passion. She knew that I love to dance, I love to sing. And I actually thought I was going to be a lawyer, but God had another plan. So I always tell people the industry chose me. I didn't really choose it because
Okay.
I wanted to dance for Alvin Ailey and or be a lawyer. That's what I wanted to do. But God
Okay.
had another plan. So I say all that to say that is what actually my beginnings and what I went through in this industry drove me to want to be a manager to protect people and protect artists. So every time I do have an artist, I try, because I am an artist myself and I've been a manager. I've been on all sides. I've been in boardrooms where I hear some of the craziest stuff being said, and you're like, "Are you serious?" Like it's
Right.
and so I try to school people and really, really tell them, empower them, and say, "Listen, learn all you can, do all you can to be a force in this industry and be in a position that yourself, you love yourself, like whatever your vices are, go ahead and get your therapy and deal with those vices so that when you get in the industry, nobody will be telling you who you are and what you
Exactly.
need to be doing." Because
That's
I've seen a lot of artists fall by the wayside because they didn't know who they were, or
right.
how God created them, and they would end up getting into drugs and things. And of course, people want to, if a person has bad intentions, they want to keep you under their thumb, so they're going to keep feeding that vice, whatever
Of
that vice
course.
is,
Yeah.
and thank God my vice back then was just cornbread. So I just like to be clear. So
Oh, that
you know
Jiffy mix wasn't no joke.
let me tell you. So I just, but I'm just, it's that whole thing,
Right.
you gotta just, you know who you are, because this industry will eat you up and chew you out. Not, and a lot of the artists that, because I've been training artists for years, a lot of them don't even do music anymore. They got out. They were like, this business is just the worst, but
Wow.
then some people love it. For me, even though I've been through a lot in this business, it's part
Right.
of my purpose. It's
Amen.
part of why I'm still in it. And I actually do love performing and dancing and singing. So I do it more for the people because I know it's bigger than me. And so
Come on.
when I manage my artists, I protect them, I love them, I love on them, I tell them the truth.
Right.
I the first thing that I deal with is their soul. How is your soul? How are you really doing? The
Right.
music and all that is gonna come later. So like, I've my artist that I have, Bobby, I worked with her for 2 years strictly first on just her building her up in the internally, and
Mm,
helping her get to a place she need to be, you know
right.
what I mean? So before
Yeah.
we even
Knowing
touched
thyself.
the music.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I got you.
you know
Yep. You were coaching her on knowing herself for sure.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
You
Yeah,
got
because
to know yourself.
you have to, because I knew that just anybody I work with, I always ask them questions, like, do you have a support system? Do you have this? Do you have that? Because some people don't. And if you're trying to do
Right.
this and then you go home and people are like, you're never going to make it, you're never, you know what I mean? It's
Man.
like, you know what I
Woo.
mean? So
Yeah.
it's you got to just surround yourself with positive people and connect with your tribe. Try to find your tribe, So for
Right.
me, managing is more of a, that's why I only manage two people, which is my daughter and my artist Bobby, because it's such an intimate thing for me.
Right.
I'm very hands-on. I'm very like, I'm gonna just protect and cover and shield. And I'm going to pray with you. I'm going to help you guide. And if I see that I've taken you to the level that I can take you, I want to connect you with somebody else who will take you higher, but that's a good person. And by
Right.
that time you get to that person, you're going to be so solid that you can walk away from something if it doesn't feel right in your spirit
Yeah.
or doesn't
Yeah.
align with your values or your morals,
Amen.
because just because you're in this business doesn't mean that you have to allow who you are, what your morals are, your values to fall to the
Right.
wayside. You know what I
See,
mean? So
it's cute. I'm sorry
no,
for
no,
interrupting.
you're good. You're good.
What you saying rings so true because um Ice T said it on one of his was it one of his Twitter posts or one of
Hmm.
his podcasting where he said you don't have to be indulging in what you think it is or it's about. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
can always hold on to who you are as an individual and
Yes,
still be successful
that's
in the
right.
industry. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because unless you moving, like you said, unless you moving in ignorance, you can't be finessed by nobody.
Come on now. Come on.
And but
What the
that's
old
why,
folks say, you got me one time. You might
come
get
on,
me a second time, but you're not gonna get me
you
a third time.
ain't gonna give me no third time. Exactly. You see, so but I understand why the industry or certain parts of the industry directs their intentions at the youth
Yeah.
because the youth are so impressionable.
Yes, they are. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They can't, a brother or a sister like me that's, you know what I'm saying, and know thyself, they know they can't push all that over on.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not,
definitely,
it's not
definitely. I do feel. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, it's cool. Go ahead, sister.
No, no. I was gonna say I do feel like in today's world we do have technology and it's the information age. So you have to learn and read. But what my experience, what I have learned with a lot of new artists is because we live in such a microwave society, they just expect it just to happen. Or they say, oh, you know, this person wants to work with me, or that person wants to work with me, or if they go viral, they think that that's it. And I'm like, you can go
Mhm.
viral, you can get there, but you have to sustain it. You got to
It's
stay
the
there.
longevity.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
why artist development is important and having people around you that are seasoned. So I think that you like me, I learn a lot from my mentees, my daughter. They teach me a lot because they're a different
Amen.
generation, but at the same time, they learn from me too. So
Amen.
it's like I'm open to them, they're open to me, and we learn together, and then I
Right.
even sit and I talk to elders because I want to know, like,
Yeah.
trying to get their knowledge, so
Exactly.
it's like,
Exactly.
unfortunately, this industry, I think that part is a lot better now. And I
Right.
think that in some aspects, I still feel like it's some crazy shenanigans that still go on, but
Of
it's
course.
like, but
Of
I do
course.
feel like with social media and people having the ability to be exposed more, they're a little bit more careful in how they move now, versus in the 90s, everything was kind of hidden and
You are.
you didn't see. And so I'm so grateful for that. And then, a lot of times the art is put back in the hand of the artist and the consumer now, because you could just do some music and upload it yourself and then build a
Right.
fan base on your own. So that's like I said, there's some beautiful aspects of it now. And
Right.
again, but I always tell people, you cannot trump that old school training. That old school training, you can't get that. Right there will take you into legend status. So
Come on now.
I encourage people, get media training, get artist development. And artist development is just not choreography. It's teaching you how to, work, interact with a crowd, have great stage presence, to
Hmm.
perform, being able to perform multiple nights after, night after night after night, how to save your voice, take vocal lessons, So, and I often tell, I said, in my experience, because I've worked with a lot of artists, now mediocrity is the new excellence. And I think that we have to get away from that. You know what I
Totally,
mean?
totally.
You know, because a lot of the stuff that flies now, it wouldn't have had, it wouldn't have
No,
seen the light back in the 90s, because
exactly,
we worked
exactly.
hard and we would put in 8 hours or more
Right.
just on stage performance alone. And we
Hmm.
didn't have a lot of the bells and whistles, so you had to be really creative. You know what I
Right.
mean? You had to come up with really creative stuff. And not saying that people don't do that now. That's totally not what I'm saying. But I feel like a lot of elements in music are missing versus what we had back in the day. We had to go through artist development. You could not be an artist and not know how to talk in front of media, or, you know what I mean? The stuff
Yeah.
that they get away with now, we couldn't do that back in the day. And I
Right.
feel like that is really what's missing. And that's why you may have people that go viral and they may have a couple of songs, but then after that, you don't hear from them, or they can't sustain that level because it was just a moment. Do you get what I
It was
mean?
right. Yep.
Yeah.
It was just a moment, and that's also, I believe, that's due to the lack of attention span nowadays.
Oh, yes, totally.
So it then went from 4 minute songs to 2 minute songs to not somebody trying to put okay, we just go do a real song. That's
That's
a minute and
crazy.
a half, if
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, it's yeah,
It's
yeah,
different. It's very different, and,
very
and,
different.
and you have to, you do have to. I always say what the elders say: chew the meat and spit out the fat. So you
Right,
kind of take what's good for you and what doesn't, work for you. You just, move on, from it. And like I said, I'm grateful for the time I came up in, because it just, my mother taught me an extremely great work ethic, and I
right,
still work hard, and I've been in the business for over 35 years plus, and
right.
I'm still, I still rehearse, I still work out, I still grind like I'm a new artist. You know what I mean?
Amen. Amen. Yeah, I mean that's what's necessary to stay on top of your game, as well as to be an example for, like you said, for the next artist to come up and that's been following you and watching how you move and the inspiration that you have been to them. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Thank you.
Totally
Yes.
agree with that. Is there anything else? Any questions you have for me? Anything?
What made you start a podcast?
Wow. Well, um, I got bored one day. No, I'm talking. I'm talking. No, I've always had ideas. I listen to other people podcasts. Done a couple of few interviews. On the underground level on
Okay.
other artist podcasts. So my thing was to be able to sit and discuss, not so much as, okay, well, I'm finna ask you 50,000 questions and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's too formal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? A conversation is more, we getting in and we talking about some real meat. We getting to some real issues. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things that's going on in these days, times are not getting to the real issues.
Right. Yeah.
So just like we can chop it up about politics, social
Mm-hmm.
issues. you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not just a podcast about music per se, but even though it's artists, producers, and entertainers, et cetera, that may come on and co-host. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's and I got a lot of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? I like to spread. So if it's not gonna be on a rap or on a song, then I
Do it
kick it in
another
the
way. Yeah, well, that's beautiful.
back.
I think being an artist, I think sometimes we box ourselves in, or allow other people to box us in and say, well, this is the only thing you should do, and this is what you should do here, and stay in this place. And we can do anything, you know what I mean? So we can do multiple things. So, like, like I expressed earlier, that's why I love styling. I love makeup. I love doing different things for artists, you know, who may not know what to do. You know, hey, if you have to go get on the red carpet, let me show you how to do this so you could do it yourself, you know. And it's all about empowering, and also learning financial literacy, um you know, what to do with your money, and how this touring thing works, and merch, and you know, I just try to school them. I say, hey, go read this book, go get this book from Barnes and Noble or Amazon or whatever, you know.
Right.
And you know, just talk to who you can talk to that's willing to give you good information and really tell you the truth, because a lot of people, you know, unfortunately, you don't really have anybody to take you under your wing, unless they really are into you, and you just got to make sure it's the right person, because you tend to meet the wolves before the great, you know, the person, the good person, unfortunately. So you know, just in those things. But and so I get totally what you're saying about being an artist. So, and I'm so glad that you haven't boxed yourself in. And I just pray bountiful blessings on what your podcast and what you're doing. And I pray it reaches a lot of amazing other artists and people that are out there in the world.
Thank you, my sister. I appreciate that, and the same prayers for you and yours.
Thank you. Thank
Y'all,
you
y'all
so
always
much.
y'all always stay supporting the brother, and I appreciate that. Um, and you know, it's gonna always demand love, the respect, the honor is always there for you, the group, everybody. That's
Thank you. I appreciate your
always,
support. I really
y'all
do.
definitely got a brother here for
I
sure.
love it. I appreciate and I thank you so much. Yeah, I think we need more, you know, platforms to just encourage people and uplift people and inspire people, and you know, also speak truth, you know, and your truth, whatever that truth may be. You know what I mean? So people can hear that you know, different voices, and it could come from, you know, somebody you admire, or somebody who's up and coming, you know what I mean? So you just never know what you can learn. Because I know myself, I listen to a lot of different podcasts, from sports to music to all
Right,
kinds of stuff.
right.
And I can
Yeah,
learn, I've learned so much, you know?
no, because yeah, that's the thing, to learn and to put what you learn into action.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
apply it to your life.
and apply
Exactly.
it.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's so important to do that. So, yeah, I love being a student, you know,
Of
and
course. Yeah.
especially in these days and times, I'm like, whoo, I really don't know what that. It's so funny. My daughter, I'll text somebody will text me something. I said, what does this mean? She'll say, I don't know. Let's Google it.
Right.
So,
Come on now. Yeah, it's definitely the information age, and that's so crazy because it's so much information out,
yeah,
but are people really wanting the right information?
right. And that's a good question there. Yeah, yeah. You know,
Yeah,
but
and
I don't know. Like you were saying, people's attention spans are so short. So a lot of people want to go from A to Z, you know what I mean, very quick, you know what I mean?
right,
So
right.
they don't understand the patience and the waiting a lot, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then I also look at it because like I compare like with China when they talk about China's TikTok compared to America's TikTok
Yep.
and what's seen over there and how they structure their TikTok in all positivity, business, education, et cetera. But they would love for America's TikTok to be all full of nonsense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they look at Americans in a light of ignorance because